New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring.
Good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome. And now the good news. I'm so delighted to be here with you this week. I'm Barbara Jean, your host, and I am delighted to share with you some remarkable news. Well, we have just made the list. Number 16, actually, best 60 positive news podcasts in the United States, and we're number 16. Woohoo! How is that not brilliant news? Oh, that is good news. I love that. Well, we're so grateful to the group that came up with that, and just sharing this information is powerful and positive. So we're very, very grateful. All righty. Well, let's dig right into some good news. Well, here's a remarkable story. A senior scholar fulfills a lifelong dream to graduate medical school, a doctor at 73 years young. Yes. Boy, nothing holds back these girls. When Dr. Carl Kraft nearly died from a brain hemorrhage, he and his wife Dawn reviewed their bucket list. Carl wanted to travel. Dawn said she wanted to go to medical school. He thought I was crazy, she said. Now, though, Dawn Zudgeist Kraft proudly carries a doctorate in medicine after finishing at the school's oldest ever graduate at 72 years old. The doctoral dream took root from the earliest periods of her life and would blossom into a career as a nurse practitioner and pediatric educator. It was a career she enjoyed even while marrying and giving birth to 2 children. For the sake of them, she put her medical school ambition on hold, at least until her 40s, she thought. And then she got divorced and remarried. And before she found her new husband, Carl, they decided to start their new family. So spent a decade raising 2 more children. The dream of medical school gradually faded until Carl suffered his brain hemorrhage, at which point Dawn realized it had to happen now, or as the phrase goes, never. Digging into her retirement savings, she paid the tuition at St. James School of Medicine in Anguilla, the Caribbean, where the institution waives the requirement for a medical college admission test. It wasn't a straightforward process, and the senior scholar wouldn't have hoped or imagined failing the biochemistry exam during year 1, but with the support of her husband, Carl, and the classmates who all remember her fondly from their dorm living, movie nights, and yoga sessions on the beach, she kept going. It took clinical rotations in Chicago and West Virginia and a stint in South Texas, where a medical professional encouraged her based on aptitude to seek out a residency program for her to graduate with her doctorate this month, not long in advance of her 73rd birthday. When you have to do it for work, you feel like, I got to do this so I can pay my rent. I want to do this because I really enjoy this. Wow. Way to go. That is absolutely remarkable. And, the truth is, As Dawn just showed us, there is no limit to the age in which you can fulfill your dreams. So, bravo, Dawn. Okay, moving along. Well, here was a reward that a homeless man helps find and return a stolen dog's ashes and receives thousands to get back on his feet. This is a lovely story. A Seattle man, homeless for 7 years, is getting a fresh start after he found and returned the priceless memorial relics of a deceased family dog. Pardon me. When Holly and Brandon Dunn's car was broken into in Seattle's University District, the thief made off with the most irreplaceable items they owned: the ashes, ceramic paw prints, and a memorial stuffed animal of their late Chihuahua, Tia. Thieves rarely look at anything they take. With time being squarely of the essence, they just grab everything that's not bolted down. Pardon me. Oh, my goodness. Let me start that again. They'll just grab everything that's not bolted down and go through it later. This was exactly what happened with Holly and Brandon's car, as the thief would later deposit the, to him, worthless remembrances in a bag in a dumpster. The homeless man named Chris came across the bag and, knowing it mattered to someone, held on to it until he spotted a flyer which the Dunns had put up. He didn't hesitate to reach out and didn't ask for anything, pardon me, in return. Now, as Chris moves into his very first apartment after 7 years on the streets, hundreds are rewarding him for his good deed through a GoFundMe organized by Catherine Mitchie, who helped post flyers in the search for Tia's remains. It has so far raised $5,600 toward his rent, furniture, and care for Rio, a dog he rescued from the street. I just got off the phone with Chris, and he's absolutely floored with the support from this community. Nietzsche wrote in the May 6th update. Thank you to everyone who is changing his life for the better. He is such an angel and deserves all the help. There are still thousands of dollars left before the fundraiser reaches its $7,000 goal. Donations can be made at the GoFundMe page. Oh, that is such a sweet story. I love that. So good, so good. And Zoe, so glad that you're here, showing up from Oakland. Okay, this story is frankly brilliant. A dancer with ALS performs on stage again through digital avatar. Yeah. Brain interface technology allowed a dancer suffering from ALS to project her imagination onto the stage in the form of a mixed reality avatar that pranced around a theater in Amsterdam as part of a first of its kind performance. Whether tense or free, timid or morose, the avatar encapsulated all the long years of training that saw Brianna Olsen become a successful dancer before the disease confined her to a wheelchair. The incredible moment gave Olsen a chance to dance again, something she had not been able to do for years after being diagnosed with ALS, the most common form of motor neuron disease. I never dreamed that I would be able to dance on stage again. It was just a beautiful and memorable moment I will remember for the rest of my life. ALS affects the nerves, brain, and spinal cord, weakening and stiffening them over time, which can lead to difficulty talking, breathing, and swallowing. There is no known cure, and the disease is fatal. A subsidiary of the Japanese conglomerate Dentsu Lab gave Olsen the opportunity to become involved in its Waves of Will project that sought to use advanced brain interface technology to help those living with disabilities recapture their personal expression and identity. Look how beautiful she is. You can tell she's happy. Their new brain interface, which the lab developed in concert with the data tech from NTT, uses an electroencephalogram headset that captures the brain activity of Olsen and translates certain electrical signals into dance moves. Olsen envisions how she would execute a movement, and the interface delivers it through normal computer instructions to a projected avatar, which then performs the motion. This is like just brilliant stuff. Olsen told the BBC that it requires extreme focus and concentration to imagine the precise details of any particular movement of the avatar. She said that it did exactly what the project's aim was, to give personal expression back to someone like her who had lost that freedom. How incredible is that? Do we live in a remarkable world or what? Man, oh, excuse me. Maybe I have a cold coming. I don't know. All right, Shanghai. Way to go, Shanghai. They achieved 98% industrial recycling rates after a 2019 waste management plan. Maybe they'll share it. In 2019, the Chinese megalopolis of Shanghai began a full steam ahead approach to reducing solid waste generation in the city. In that year, some 26,000 metric tons of waste was produced every day. But after 6 years of intensive investment, messaging, and habit forming, the household recycling rate is up 10%, with 35 to 45% of all waste now finding its way to proper collection facilities. 45% may not seem like much compared to some European successes like that of Romania, but Shanghai is home to 25 million people, big enough to accommodate the Romanian capital of Bucharest 11 times over. Other successes in this effort to reduce waste are more noteworthy. For example, solid industrial waste has been reduced 98% in a triumph of efficiency. Leading the way are firms like CSMET, a new materials enterprise in the city's Jinshan district, where the firm combines extra aluminum cuttings churned out by the manufacturing sector with household aluminum waste to create new aluminum products. We practice the concept of solid waste in, resources out, turning waste aluminum into new resources. CSMET is outside the city center where much of the fabrication and manufacturing occurs, so collection is simple. Shanghai's authorities have relied on sometimes small in the area operations to reduce the logistics strain of moving waste around the city that's more than thrice the area of Houston, Texas. In the district of Hongkou, a pilot composting operation is turning 220 pounds of organic household waste per day into fertilizer using microbial digestion. Now, with kitchen waste being transformed into fertilizer for plants at their doorsteps, residents can directly experience how waste is turned into treasure, reinforcing their habit of waste sorting. When the changes were being rolled out in 2019, fines for improperly sorted waste increased tenfold for businesses, while residents could find their trash still sitting on the roadside if the collection workers determined it wasn't sorted. Well, that's what you have to do sometimes to get people to change the way they're doing something. So bravo. Well, on that note, we're going to take a short little commercial break, and then we'll be right back with more. And now the good news here on the New Thought Media Network. Don't go away.
Please help us say thank you to all of our organizational sponsors, including the Hepperlin Foundation, Affiliated New Thought Network, International New Thought Alliance, Science of Mind Archives and Library Foundation, Center for Spiritual Living Denver, Center for Spiritual Living Midtown, New Thought Philadelphia, Center for Spiritual Living United Life, Sunshine Cathedral, Planned Happiness Institute, Summit Center for Spiritual Living, One Heart Retreats, Universal Joy Center, Unity Kitchener, Unity Spiritual Center Ottawa, Home Center for Spiritual Living, Satya Center, Begin Within Ministries, Center for Spiritual Living North Jersey, Unity of Savannah, and the Center for Spiritual Living Seattle, as well as all of our individual donors. On behalf of New Thought Media Network, thank you, and please like, share, and subscribe. New Thought Media Network, come be you.
And we're back with more good news. Well, this is a very cool story. A routine sales visit to a Texas home turned into something far more meaningful when a young home improvement specialist met a woman facing serious health challenges and decided to show her that kindness still exists in the world. With Caleb Kilo knocked on Melinda Petoskey's door in Keller, Texas, he expected a normal work appointment. Instead, the visit quickly became deeply personal for both of them. Kilo said there was something about Petoskey that immediately reminded him of his late grandmother. There was something in her eyes, he said. She reminded me of my Grammy. She's no longer with us. As they talked, Petoskey opened up with her health struggles, explaining that doctors are closely monitoring her condition and that a transplant could eventually become necessary. Hearing that struck an emotional chord with Kilo, whose own father underwent a double lung transplant 6 years ago. I thought I was going to lose my father, so it was very emotional, he said. What began as a simple conversation between a salesperson and homeowner soon turned into an unforgettable connection. Moved by her situation, he asked if he could pray with her right there in her home. For Petoskey, the encounter came at exactly the right time. He was the most delightful young man I've ever encountered, and we've just seemed to click, she said. But the story did not end there. The following Monday, he returned with a surprise that left Petoskey overwhelmed with gratitude. The company he works for, Texas Home Improvement, offered to complete needed repairs on her home completely free of charge. The gesture transformed an ordinary work call into something neither of them will likely ever forget. I think I'm going to have to invite him to be my grandson, Podesky said. I love that. What a way to get a new grandchild. It's so sweet to see how people connect and then stay connected. On that note, this firefighter delivered a baby 22 years ago, and he decided to travel 800 miles to watch her graduate. How's that? More than 2 decades after having delivered a baby during an emergency call, a retired firefighter traveled 800 miles to watch that same little girl graduate from college, proving that some first responders don't just save lives, they become part of them forever. When Chloe Huddle walked across the stage at Grand Canyon University on Friday to receive her degree in educational studies, one of the loudest supporters in the crowd was Alan Kent, the retired Colorado Springs firefighter who helped bring her into the world 22 years earlier. It just means the world to me that I have so many people here to support and celebrate me in this big life moment. Their story began on February 15th, 2004, when Kent responded to a medical call in Colorado Springs. As we approached the scene, we got out, we heard Stacy upstairs screaming. I was like, I think we're going to have a baby. He was right. Just minutes later, Chloe was born, and Kent became the first person to hold her. Alan was the first person to hold me, and we've had a special bond ever since, Huddle said. While Kent helped deliver other babies throughout his decades-long career as a firefighter and paramedic, Chloe's story became something special after her mother returned to the fire station with her newborn daughter to say thank you. That visit sparked a friendship that would last a lifetime. Soon they made a pact. Chloe would celebrate birthdays at the fire station, and Kent promised he'd show up for her major milestones in her life. And he meant it. There he is at her graduation. Since I'm retired, I've got a little bit of time. But even if I wasn't retired, I wouldn't miss this. Over the years, the relationship evolved far beyond firefighter and child. Huddle says Kent now feels like family. That is a really beautiful story. I love some of these stories that really talk about how amazing humanity really is, because I think sometimes we forget. All right, well, this gentleman kept a stranger's note for 4 years, and now the internet is helping him find her. A single handwritten note left at an Applebee's in 2021 has turned into a powerful reminder that even the smallest act of kindness can stay with someone for years and come back full circle when it's needed most. In Paris, Texas, a man is searching for the woman who quietly paid for his meal 4 years ago and left behind a heartfelt message that he says changed his life. At the time, the woman slipped him a handwritten note explaining why she felt compelled to cover the cost of his dinner. She told him she noticed he was eating alone and wanted him to know kindness still exists. But her note revealed something even deeper. She shared that she had lost her husband 7 years earlier, and that the day she wrote the message was the first time she had eaten alone in public since his passing. I hope it might make you smile knowing that kindness still exists, she wrote. I still pray, and I pray that God brings you peace. The man kept the note all these years. Now, after suffering a heartbreaking loss of his own, his wife passed away in 2025. He says he finally understands the pain behind her words in a completely different way. In a handwritten response of his own, he explained that her kindness stayed with him long after that meal ended. You touched my heart that day, he wrote. Loss is something no words can explain and no feeling can contain. Wanting to honor his late wife and repay the compassion once shown to him, he wrote that he hopes to reconnect with the woman who unknowingly helped carry him through one of the hardest seasons of his life. I would like to repay the kindness that you once shown me in honor of my late wife. I would like to set things right. The touching story was recently shared by staff at Paris Coffee, who said they were hoping to help one of their amazing customers reconnect with the mystery woman behind the note. He wrote in his note, Dear sweet lady, hello. We have never formally met, but I have this receipt from Applebee's dated March 6, 2021. You wrote of the loss of your husband and how someone once showed you a kindness on now you wanted to do the same. You touched my heart that day. My wife Evelyn was in an auto accident December 26, 2020. It left her what is called a limited quadriplegic. Loss is something no words can explain and no feeling can contain. Something you experience, something that will always be a part of you. All of that to say this. I lost Evelyn September 8th, 2025. I am healing slowly. If you see this, and if you will allow, I would like to repay the kindness, here we go, that you once showed me in honor of my late wife. So this is my message in a bottle. I apologize for taking so long to convey my gratitude to you. I have no excuse. Please forgive me. If it is possible, I would like to set things right. Should this find you and you decide to respond, simply take a picture and contact one of the girls at Paris Coffee or one of the guys at Blackland Arms across from PC, north side of the mall. They may be a little protective, but they are good people. They care about me and have been the solid anchor I sometimes needed. I hope this finds you well, happy and loved. You are and continue to be often in my thoughts and ever in my prayers. God bless. Michael. Whew, that is so sweet. I love that when people take the time to share such a sweet kindness. It's so important. And sometimes we don't see it. So really, really good that he did that. I love it. Okay, so a study shows litter declined 34% across America since 2020. How good is that? Litter across America has declined, according to a new report from charity Keep America Beautiful. The report reckons that every American's share of litter along roadways and waterways has fallen over the time from 152 pieces to 96. Decades ago, the Good News Network founder, Jerry Wells Corbley, organized a local spring cleanup along her neighborhood's country roads every year when she was raising kids. And I can tell Looking at the roads now, that littering is way down because I live in the same neighborhood and there aren't any organized cleanups anymore. The study, which updates the groundbreaking Keep American Beautiful 2020 National Litter Study, is the most extensive research conducted in U.S. history to estimate the scope, scale, causes, and impacts of litter. KAB states that it provides both a progress report and a roadmap for where urgent action on litter is still needed as the country approaches its 250th birthday. Good job, folks, clearing up the litter. Nothing bugs me more than seeing litter on the streets. It's one of those things, little pet peeve. All right, the European Union passes animal protection law for keeping, breeding, and selling. This is good news. The European Parliament has agreed on the bloc's first set of rules governing animal welfare that will cut out harmful breeding and ownership practices. The vote came in with 558 in favor, 35 against, and with 52 abstentions. It was already been green-lit by the European Council and will enter into effect for breeders and organizations that sell or adopt animals after the next 4 years. The law will ban all breeding practices that result in physical deformation for aesthetic appeal, including for exaggerated traits. As for which breeds that might involve, the law did not make any stipulations. It states that breeding strategies motivated by marketing objectives can result in certain types of dogs and cats developing excessive conformational traits. Since such excessive traits can lead to significant health problems for the dogs and cats concerned, breeders should exclude them from breeding programs. Whether that means the pug or the bulldog, or frankly, most domesticated purebred cat breeds for that matter, are now illegal to breed, may very well be something for the courts to determine over the next decade. That news makes me really, really happy. Hopefully, it makes you happy too. All right, a butterfly that went extinct in Britain a century ago, set for return to a famous rewilded estate land. How beautiful is that butterfly? Good News Report has reported before, Britain loves her butterflies, and this black-veined beauty is getting special attention as it prepares to reestablish itself across the island. Extinct in the UK since the 20th century due to land use changes and habitat loss, the black-veined white butterfly seems set for a return thanks to a reintroduction project. The work has been organized by the Knepp Wildlife Foundation, the nonprofit arm of Britain's most famous rewilding project, on Knepp Estate in West Sussex, where a struggling landowner turned his family's failing ancestral farm into one of the most biodiverse places in England. The mosaic of newly naturalized wooded grasslands teems with animals, including large concentrations of endangered birds like nightingales and insect species like the purple emperor butterfly. The black-veined white butterfly is still widespread across continental Europe, and for the reintroduction program, larvae were flown to Knepp in special containers that would allow them to overwinter on the estate and acclimatize to conditions in Britain. How cool is that? And early signs suggest the insects are doing well, growing as would be expected on hawthorn and blackthorn shrubs that make up their diet and habitat. Excellent news. Excellent news. Well, we're down to our last minute, and so I'm going to skip our last story for today, and we'll check that one out next week. Thank you for watching. And now the good news. I'm your host, Barbara Jean. And I just want to say being number 16 is just like being number 1. We're so grateful. I want to thank the New Thought Media Network for all of the good work being done here, and to share that this network is a charitable organization that you can donate to. So send your donations to ntmedia.org to ensure that this network stays running for now and maybe forever. Thank you for watching, and be sure to join us again next week. And hey, like, share, and subscribe. Bye for now. See you next time.